just released a Banjo backing track for the song Folsom Prison Blues, and in this video we're going to walk through step by step a fingerstyle banjo version of this song that you can play along with that backing track. Folsom Prison Blues is a great song to learn if you are in the beginning to intermediate stages of learning the banjo. Well-known song, popular, straightforward melody. Sounds great in thumb lead style, which we're going to learn here. And so again, we're going to walk through the process step by step of creating this particular fingerstyle arrangement so that you understand the process for how that's done after this video as you are learning it. And also learn the process that I'd recommend you use when you're learning any song, even if it's something you're learning directly from tab, to always go through the process that I'm going to demonstrate here. And then when you're done, you can practice it along with the track. All right, let's get started. We are going to be in standard G tuning. The original song is sung in the key of F, and that is a little less banjo friendly, so all we have to do is move it up to the key of G to make it a little more banjo friendly. And also, if you're a male, your register might not be quite as low as Johnny Cash's in this instance. And if you want to play and sing along, playing it in G, you might find it a little bit easier. All right, so we have a D on our fourth string, G on the third, B on the second, D on the first, and a G on the fifth. Okay, now let's walk through the chords we're going to be using in this particular song. We're in the key of G, so G will be our one chord, our root chord, and we can just use the open strings of the banjo for that. The other chords we'll be using are our C chord, which is the 4 chord in this key, and then the 5 chord, which is our D, which I'll be making using this partial D shape rather than the fully fingered D shape. All right? So let's walk through the chord progression. We're going to start on the open G. I hear the train a-comin', it's rolling around the bend, but I ain't seen the sunshine since. And here, if we want to move to the 7th, make it a G7, we can do that. You just put your finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. I don't know when. See how that leads nicely to the next chord. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. So there we move to the 4, or the C major. Stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging. Back to the G. But that, and now we move to the D. Train keeps rolling on down to San, and back to the G. Tone. So that last note there gets pretty low, even in this particular key. Those are our chords, so that's where we start with our structural foundation for this song, right? 1s, 4s, and 5s, pretty classic chord progression. So now let's find where our melody notes are on the banjo to build that particular map now that we have our chords. So we start with, I hear the train a-comin'. Okay, I'm getting those here on the 3rd string here. You could also get them on the 2nd. Alright, but we're going to use the 3rd here because we're going to be playing it when we play our full arrangement on that string. So we'll use those melody notes there. Alright, so we've got, I hear the train a-comin'. Next part's the same. It's rolling round the bend. Next part's just a slight difference. But I ain't seen the sunshine. That note there, a blue note, doesn't actually exist in this particular key, but it's played in this song. But I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. Okay, that's that part. Next part. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. So, next part. And time keeps dragging on. Again. Now now you'll see here we have like 3 whole measures to just fill, actually 3.5 really, that are empty, no melody, so we're free there to do whatever we want, and that'll come up in a minute when we build our arrangement. Last little part, but the train keeps rolling. So, and then it's on down to San Antone. Now that first note is that open 4th string, but it goes lower than that after that, and we don't have any more banjo left. So what we're going to do is we're going to move that up an octave. On down to San Antone. We're just going to move it up to here. On down to San Antone. Right? Same notes, just an octave higher. So a common thing to do on the banjo when you run out of notes to play on your lower register, you just shift them up an octave. All right? So that last little part. Okay, now we've got all of our building blocks. We've got our chords, we've got our melody notes. Now let's move on to fleshing this out into a full, bona fide 2-finger thumb lead style arrangement. All right, so now we have our full 2-finger thumb lead style arrangement. Again, you can download this tab if you want for reference. All of the melody notes that we just discovered are highlighted here and bolded. Again, note that we have far more non-melody notes than melody notes, which is a feature of the banjo. So our first note is just a little pickup, and then we go into our first full measure. We'll play our first full 2 measures, which sound like this. All right. So when I play this as the lead, I use that blue note every time, just because I like the way that sounds. To that 6th fret of the 4th string. So essentially we're sliding, right, 2nd to 4th string, and then we're playing 5, 6, 7, and then open with our thumb. And the whole thing is like this. All right. Next 2 measures start out similar. We just skip that 6th fret and then go. Okay, again. Next 2 measures are the same as our first 2. And then we close out this part with some these last 2 measures, something like this. We got 3 slides from 2 to 4 on the 3rd fret in a row. All right, everything so far sounds like this. And if you're kind of following along the melody in your mind, you know that we're about to head into Stuck in Folsom Prison, right? Which means we're now moving to our C chord. So again, we're moving into our C chord, and I'm going to hammer on to that first note. All right, so as I'm bringing my whole fingers into that position, I'm hammering onto that note on that 2nd string, that 2nd fret of the 4th string. Okay, next measure, still on the C chord. Next measure. Okay, so those 4 measures sound like this. Back to G, so open strings. Now we're going to have space to fill, all right? These are those 3 measures I talked about. This is the first one. This note here is our melody note. And the ones after that are all filler. Next measure, still filler. Next measure, still filler. We'll just drop in this little lick. And then next measure. All right, so all that filler, again, sounds like this. Okay, again, you can play whatever you want there as long as you're playing around that G chord. It doesn't matter, but those are just ways to fill that space. All of this, all of what we see sounds like this. Again, following along your head, we're about to move to that 4 chord. And that train, we're about to hit that note, right? So move to the D chord with your fingers. Next measure, I'm going to bring my ring finger onto the 4th fret of the 4th string. Again. Next measure. So again, I'm playing that, still fingering that chord, playing 3rd string, 2nd fret, and then I'm going to slide 2nd fret to 3rd fret on the 2nd string. And as I'm doing that, I'm also hitting that open 1st string. Okay, now if that timing trips you up at all, just start by playing it like this. Right, keeping your finger on that 3rd fret of the 2nd string and just doing this with your doing the picking pattern with your picking hand. And then just add in that slide. The picking hand does nothing different. Okay, and then next measure. Okay, so we have all of these notes of equal length. We're going from 3rd fret, 2nd string to 1st fret, and then we're moving to 2nd fret, 3rd string, and I'm doing what you might call a choke, right? Just bending that string back and right towards away from me and then back, right? And trying to land on that particular note and then bring it back. All right. I think it sounds good in this part of the song. All right. Next measure, we end on this open 3rd string, and then we have filler that's left, and we're going to do something kind of similar to what we did before. So this measure. Okay, more filler. And then last full measure here, same as before. And then end on that open 3rd, right? All together we have. All right. Okay, so everything we have sounds like this. All right, there you have it, Folsom Prison Blues. I will now play it along with the backing track so you can hear it, how it should sound along with it. I think you'll find that it sounds pretty great, and I strongly encourage you, when you have it under your fingers, to practice it along with the track. And remember, you can slow the video down if you need to play it a little bit slower until you get it under your fingers, and then move it up to full speed. All right, so here it is, Folsom Prison Blues. Have fun with it.
I hear the train a-comin', it's rolling round the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on, but that train keeps rolling on down to San drinking coffee and smoking